Welcome everyone to this session. We're going to help you understand how to get from POC to production. As you're building your agents, how do you get to production? That's the topic. I'm Deepak, and with me is
Hi.
Manjeet.
Hi everyone, I'm Manjeet. I'm also a PM in the Agentforce team. And the photo matches, so we are the same guy in here.
I think we skipped a slide. So thank you, first of all, for coming here for this session, for being customers of Salesforce, partners of Salesforce, building on top of the platform. We appreciate you, and hope you can learn from this session and take these learnings as you build your agents. We introduced ourselves. Okay, Agentforce. We are all in this agentic era where agents are going to replace a lot of actions and activities that we do as humans. Our philosophy is how do we help humans and agents work together. Right? Agentforce platform, we announced this back at Dreamforce 6 months back. Since then, we have seen a lot of momentum. Agentforce platform allows you to build agents and manage the agent lifecycle holistically, end to end. With that, we are seeing a lot of customers building agents across multiple industries. Here are some that we're calling out here. We do believe that this scale is going to increase as time progresses, as agents are going to become more and more intelligent. It's all upon us to make them more intelligent, but also have the right mechanisms in place so we can measure how good they are, so that we can put them into real production use cases. So this is an important slide. I want you guys to internalize this. We've all seen this. LLMs by default hallucinate. Agents leverage LLMs for actions, for reasoning, for various tasks that they do, which means that agents also have a high likelihood of hallucinating, taking wrong decisions, making wrong actions, giving wrong information. Right? So accuracy becomes an extremely important thing for us to all take into account. These are some examples of how if we don't do a good job of making sure our agents are accurate, responses are accurate, their actions are accurate, that it can impact our brand and our businesses negatively. Okay, so now let's get into testing and quality of agents. Why is this important? We know that, but why is it difficult? Agents and traditional software are two different ways of building things. Traditional software is all rule-based. You have a program where you codify exactly how the program should behave in various circumstances. So that makes it easy for you to test. When you want to test that software, you know if input is A, then make sure that the output is B. Right? In the case of agents, and we all have played around with ChatGPT and other agentic systems, you ask a question, you get a response. You ask the same question again, you get slightly different response, still accurate. Right? So there is this one-to-many type of input to output relationship that you need to be able to measure, and hence a rule-based measurement is not going to work. Because the system is non-deterministic, we need to have a combination of rule-based and a probabilistic way of measuring. Right? So that's where this is important for us to internalize, and I want you to internalize this before we get into details on what we offer and how Agentforce platform is going to help you test your agents. Right? So just to give you some examples, here are some questions that you want to ask about your agent. It's not just about when I give input A, am I getting output B? It's about, is my agent response correct? Correct in terms of what I need. And there, most of the times, you need some humans to look at it. Right? But humans are a sparse resource. You don't have enough number of humans to go look at all the permutations and combinations of the output that agents can generate or LLMs can generate. So that's not a scalable process, right? So we need to have a process that is scalable, as well as can help you measure not only accuracy of your response, but also safety and ethical consideration, which is also top of mind for enterprises as you put agents into production, right? And then there are no standards in the industry right now. Standards are evolving around how do you test your agents, which also makes it very difficult. There is no playbook that you can just follow, right? Which is where we have a lot of innovation done on our platform, and we're going to go dig deeper on some of those for you today. Before we get into testing, let's ground ourselves into where is testing in the overall life cycle. Like any software development, you need to have different stages, and you need to have a methodical way of approaching building an agent, right? At Dreamforce last time, 6 months back, we showed you how we make it very easy for you to ideate and configure, which is the first 2 steps of your life cycle, where you basically map your business problem into what agent you want to build, and then you configure your agent, you build your agent. So we made it super easy, and we had a bunch of customers build agents during Dreamforce in those 3-4 days. This time, we are covering rest of the life cycle, which is once you have your agent built, how do you test your agent? So you feel confident before you ship that to production. and then deploying that to production, and then that's not end of the world. Right? You build your agent, you ship it with confidence, but agents can hallucinate in production. How do you make sure that you have the right checks and balances in place that you can monitor your agents in production? And we have a bunch of tools that we're going to share more details on, that Agentforce platform is going to help you not only test your agent before shipping to production, but also help you measure your agent quality in production and take corrective measures once you see issues in production. So let's dig deeper. So these are the three areas, product surfaces that you may have seen. Agent Builder, you may have seen this at Dreamforce. We continue to evolve that. This helps you build your agents at ease. Testing Center, which is what Manjeet is going to go deeper on, enables you to test your agents at scale. With Agent Builder, you can test with some example utterances, but that's not enough if you want to ship it to production. How do you holistically test your agents at scale with n number of use cases, n number of test cases spanning across different use cases? So that's where testing comes in. And then Interaction Explorer, and we have a bunch of other tools also that we're going to go deeper into, helps you analyze your agent performance in production. So Interaction Explorer, for example, will show you all the utterances and all the conversations that are happening in production that your agent is responding to, so you can figure out exactly how each conversation went. So now, Testing Center, what is Testing Center? So Testing Center is a tool where you can, once you have your agent configured, you can give it n number of test cases. You can define hundreds of test cases. You can run all of those test cases in parallel. In addition to that, if you don't have your test cases defined, we also are getting help from AI to generate test cases for you that you can review, and you can add more to your test suite before you run those. Right? In addition to that, we also have ability for you to, once you test, it's not enough for you to just test your use cases. If a test case fails, you need to be able to know why it failed. So we have tools to support you debug failures, and we're also investing in refining, helping you come up with recommendations to refine your agents moving forward. So with that, let me hand over to Manjeet for getting us deeper dive into Testing Center.
Awesome. Thanks, Deepak. Are you guys ready to see it in action? Let's do how many of you have built more than 2 agents? Give me some idea. All right, more than 2 agents. That's a good benchmark. How many of you think it was easy to test? Anybody who was like, okay, I cracked the code, I know how to kind of make it super easy. It's hard, but then the good thing is what I'm going to show you, it will start to make, I wouldn't say like super easy, but to a level where it's manageable. I built this agent, and now how can I test it? So let's see it in action. One way to think about this is you have input and output, just like any software, but then you want to validate all these intermediate steps, right? So these metrics you see, what was the topic called, what was the action called. So that's how you demystify. If your output is bad, how do you backtrack and then see, okay? This is another view quickly. The 2 things to notice here is we take a hybrid approach into the solution. Approach number 1 is just like how you validate any code, right? Whether the right topic was qualified, we call it assertion-based validation. The second one is we use AI to validate, and another term you might see is LLM as a judge. So we have our own fine-tuned model that we use to validate the results to see if the response produced is correct or not. Okay, so let's switch to the demo so that it makes sense to you. I will go to the demo screen to the right. If you remember, Deepak was showing this slide in the agent builder. So I'll start my journey here. So there are 2 main user experiences. One is I build an agent, and now I want to start testing to see how my agent is working. So I can start my unit testing in here. So let's see, who is Mark Benioff? Let's see how, I haven't tested this. If this agent knows about this question or not. And the good thing is, whether agent has the information or is grounded in the knowledge doesn't matter. You will see the details into the plant trace or what happened, right? Whether it's went to off topic or on topic. So I think agent is like, okay, looks like it's a difficult question. It should not be. Let's see what it comes back. Okay, so it's some progress in here. So it couldn't find it because this is my test instance. It is not connected to any sort of my knowledge data and then where it is. But I think the key point in here is when it fails, you should be able to see what happened behind the scene, okay? So in this case, it's telling me that there was some error. I can drill down in instructions. So things have failed. This is a very common. That's why testing of agent is hard. And specifically, if you want to test with hundreds of scenarios, that's where you want to do it in kind of the batch testing, and you want to do it in more an automated way. So how do you do that? The good news is that's where Testing Center comes into play. I'll show you the low-code experience. So when I'm ready to do batch testing, I'll click on in here. Something happened. Let me refresh. Oops, let me go back. One more. All right, Deepak, you want to tell a joke when I bring this up? Well, let's see. I think this demo org should come back. Here we go.
It should come back.
But all right, demo god, don't fail me. Okay, what I'll do is I have a backup for us. I'll go in there.
Backup, yeah.
Okay. So basically, if I go into the demo here, I'll do the voiceover. We don't have to do it's the same flow. I'll fast forward where we were. I'm testing in here. This is my single utterance testing. And now I'm ready to do the batch test. This is the button I'll click on the side. And I want to pause here, because this is where I came from Agent Builder to the Testing Center. And it's only 3 steps here. You want to define a name. What's the purpose of this testing, right? I'm doing regression testing. I'm doing the unit testing. So you give it a name. And then where is the test data? Super important. And that's where there's 2 methods now available in release today. One is if you already have the data, bring that through CSV file, which is option number 1. If I don't have the data, then I will click on to generate test cases, which is, if I fast forward, so you give the number of test cases you want to generate. So if I bring my mouse here, this is the number of test cases I'm defining. Here is another important, basically, flexibility you have is you can define, hey, out of these test cases, make sure 5 of them are unhappy path, 10 of them are happy path, and so this is how you create diversity into your test scenarios. So you literally put them in here, and then you also have granularity of picking the topics, so it's basically getting from agent metadata, how many actions an agent do you have. And what I'll do is, and then submit this job. So your first step is you create a diverse set of test data that covers the scope of the agent. What is this agent is meant to do? Is it my service agent? Is it my marketing agent? And once the data is generated, you will see all my test cases shows up here. And as soon as the job starts to hit, these additional column will start to fill up for you. Because what happens is it's an async job. It takes all the rows one by one, send it through the agent pipeline, get the actual results, and compare it with the expected results. So that's where you see if my topic was pass or fail, right? And if I scroll back a little up, we should see this job took less than 2 minutes for me. Topic is 100% pass. OK, that's good if I'm an admin. OK, what happened to the action? It's 65% pass. That's where I'll go into what happened, why the failure happened, and I'll go into those details. And then the most important one is the output response. So Agentforce Testing Center is available in all the Scratch org, all the demo org, and all your kind of the sandbox org. You don't have to do anything. If you are running 254.3 and above patch, which most of the orgs should have now, you just literally have to, let's see if my demo org is back. I'll show you. You should go to the setup. Let's see if this is still down. And if you search for agent, you should see Agent Testing Center showing up. Something happened to this org. Apologies for that. But let me stay here on the deck. So this is one path. The second path is you can directly go to Testing Center and do the same thing, right? You can create a job. And now this is a scenario where, hey, I already built the agent. I'm not going into Agent Builder. I will start picking up the agent, whichever agent I want to test, and go through the same set of steps. So let's look at a couple of other important pieces that's part of the product now, is this view. So this view breaks down the entire Testing Center platform and the capability, like which metrics do we have available today. We talked about test data set. We saw AI-assisted test data generations. How about Q&A pair generation? So that's something will be available soon. And then you want to analyze your test failures, right? So that's where you will, if you look into this number 5 here, able to click on a failed test scenario and then see why it failed, like the entire session trace. So that's something is also going to be available very soon. So this is one view to see the holistic, what it takes to evaluate all different kind of agents, okay? The another thing is, I don't know if you were into some of the other demos, we also have the API available that you can take and integrate into your existing DevOps, your CI/CD pipeline. If you already have a DevOps product, just call the API, your CLI or your Visual Studio. Or if you don't have any DevOps, Salesforce have a DevOps center, and Testing Center is now part of that workflow as well. So you don't have to do anything. You will see it there as you go into the DevOps Center UI. A couple of more things. One important piece that we have been showing is around monitoring is what's happening with all the conversations that our agent is able to handle. So we called it Conversation Explorer, but now it's also called Interaction Explorer because conversation is just one type of interaction. We released the API, and now we have headless agents, so that's why I think you want to see all kinds of data into this UI. But the main thing, I think the key takeaway is all of this data is coming into Data Cloud. So you don't feel limited by what, let's say this dashboard we have. You can build out your own report. If you have Tableau, build out your own dashboard and maybe augment that data with some other CRM record, and then if you want to tie it to some business value KPIs. So we are spending a lot of time in bringing this data so it's easy to report, and that's basically powering up some of this monitoring and observability tooling here. This is the drill down view, the clusters of those agents. Benchmarks, some of the questions you might get is, which LLM is better for this agent? So go to our LLM benchmark. We will be adding more agents in there, so you can see, service agent and marketing agents. It becomes super helpful resource to see from kind of cost and speed and accuracy standpoint. Some more resources for you. Good news is, I don't know, I didn't check Deepak, but this week we should have a trailhead live for Testing Center, where you can take some of the sample test scenarios and kind of start testing it out. We have a bunch of blogs out, of course, the product help guide. So a bunch of resources are coming in, so that you have what you need, and then start testing into your org. So I think we have 2 minutes left. I'll say thank you again, and probably we can take a question or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.